Hi, this is Armando with the boxing corner, talking about something that broke a little bit earlier today about Floyd Mayweather jumping ship and taking his revenue, his empire to Showtime for his not Mayweather, his Cinco de Mayo pay-per-view coming up in a couple of months. Um, Mr. HBO now is Mr. Showtime, it seems. Kind of not even thinking about that. He's always been faithful to HBO. As far as I've known, I mean, they've said he's had a 17-year career with HBO, and just seeing him on Showtime is just I mean, you would think it's not really that big of a deal, but I think it kind of is, because it just seems like Showtime is becoming like the premier network now, where in my opinion, it seemed like HBO always had that, that aura about it, about having the big fights and this and that. Um, Having Pacquiao and Mayweather doing, pay-per-views. Now having, exclusively Floyd Mayweather for the next 30 months. Um, they're getting a lot of ground with this. It is a big deal. You may think, who gives a shit? He's fighting on one network and the other network. Mm, I mean, millions upon millions and tens of millions of dollars are at stake because he moved to Showtime. So it is a big deal. What does this do to HBO? I mean, they've always had, him and Pacquiao do pay-per-views. They make each other a lot of money. So, they lost one of their franchise fighters in Mayweather. So, I mean, HBO will be fine, but this is definitely a blow to their revenue and to all things. HBO being like I said, the top dog, the marquee, the premier, fighting, between them and Showtime. Um, I just remember him, Mosley, talking about how Pacquiao, how dare he, go to Showtime, because Pacquiao and Mosley's fight was televised by Showtime, on pay-per-view, and he felt, that was disloyal to HBO, a little bit hypocritical, but I mean, the money talks. Pacquiao and Mosley did that too. They went to Showtime. Aram set that up. So I mean, money talks, like it's always been. It'll talk for Pacquiao, it'll talk for Mosley, it'll talk for Floyd, it'll talk for Sergio Martinez, whoever. In the end, whoever gives you the bigger, better deal, you're gonna go. I don't care who you are. Um, 6 fights, according to what I read, 6 fights in 30 months. That seems very excessive for Floyd Mayweather. I mean, even you know, it just seems like a lot. I mean, he's always been so inactive. And don't get me wrong, I want to see him fight more. I want to see him uh, stay active and fight a lot, because these periods of inactivity of where he fights once every year or every year and a half or whatever, I mean, they diminish his skills massively. Now the thing is he's not 30, 32 years old. He's a much older Floyd Mayweather. He doesn't move a lot like he used to. Does he really need to move a lot? Probably not, because he really is a great counterer. He's just his defense style. He can he can fight flat-footed. Like as if he has two tree trunks on his legs, and he'll still manage to do what he wants to any fighter. But he just doesn't move a lot like he used to. Um, so what does that mean? That he fights every 5 or 6 months, maybe even every 5 months, because he's got 6 fights in 30 months. Now I don't know if that means he has to fight all 6 fights to get a maximum deal or whatever. I really don't know exactly what's going on with that. This is just me thinking out loud. I'm like, keep reading at 6 fights in 30 months. So I'm guessing he has to fight 6 times in 30 months. Let's just keep it basic. Um, I mean, that's a lot. I mean, even some fighters now, these younger guys, besides Nonito Donaire, they They don't fight 6 times in 30 months. That's a lot. They may or they may not, but you know, that's a lot for a superstar like Floyd Mayweather, and even like Pacquiao too. Hell, I don't even think Sergio Martinez fights that much. Um, let's see. Man, I had a slew of things that I wanted to talk about, and oh, that's right. With the 6 fights in 30 months, I mean, is he willing to get back in the ring after a fight? You know, say you get a fight in May, and he's gonna schedule a fight in, I don't know, May, October maybe. I mean, is he willing to, you know, have a couple of weeks off, and heal, and then train again, and then after that, a month off, and then next 2.5, 3 months of training? That's what I'm worried about, because Floyd has always been that guy that, he makes his millions, tens of millions, and he takes the rest of the year off, or takes long layoffs because he likes to play with his money, which he rightfully earned. Whether you think his opposition is worthy or not, regardless, he brings the masses, he brings the money, he does whatever he wants to do. It's his money. Mayweather does things his way, and that's just how it goes with Floyd Mayweather. Again, like I said, I do want to see him more active, 6 times in 30 months. I've mentioned that 50 million times in this video. I hope he can do it. I'm sure he can do it. The dude is immensely dedicated to that when he does train, but to train constantly for the next 30 months, is definitely no easy work. Who would be his 6 opponents? That's what I was thinking. Obviously, he's fighting Guerrero, and obviously Canelo's probably going to be, in the mix. I don't think he should fight Canelo now. I think he should kind of build up Canelo in the next year and a half, and then that fight can definitely break some records. Would he fight Sergio Martinez? Lucas Matisse, Devin Alexander? I mean, I know Martinez is a Lou DiBella promoter, but will he work outside of Golden Boy Promotions? I mean, will he face non-Golden Boy Promotion fighters, in his pay-per-view slew? Does Oscar De La Hoya have him by the balls, because he's constantly working with Golden Boy? They make a lot of money together. Should HBO, obviously they have to move on, with Pacquiao, but Pacquiao doesn't have long in his career, in my opinion. Broner is probably going to move to Showtime based on him being with Golden Boy Promotions. They probably shouldn't build up on Broner anymore because of the fact that, to be honest, he probably is going to move to Showtime sooner or later. So in the end, I mean, should HBO start working on Sergio Martinez or Nonito Donaire? Sergio is definitely probably has a handful of fights. I would say 3 or 4 fights before he calls it a career. Pacquiao obviously has maybe a handful of fights as well. So I guess Nonito Donaire, in my opinion, would be the next pay-per-view star for HBO. Build him up. He's still at a bantamweight or a super bantamweight 122. Let's follow his career. He's fought 5, 6 times in the past year, so build him up to pay-per-view status and watch him grow, sort of like how Pacquiao did over the past couple of years. Build him up to pay-per-view status, and we'll see where he goes from there. Pacquiao, he did look good against Marquez, just got beat, and Sergio is on the tail end of his career. So Floyd Mayweather will end out his career these next 6 fights. At least I would think, with HBO, make a gazillion dollars and pretty much robbing the bank, but on top of that, giving back to Showtime with all the money that he garners. So that's just my thoughts on the situation. I may do a second video, but that's just what was exploded in my head as I was reading that. So thanks for watching. This is Armando with the Boxing Corner, and I'll see you next time.